Surah Al-Baqarah is recited, لا يدخله الشيطان. Shaitan will never enter that house. So if you recite Surah Al-Baqarah in your house, in your home, you are protecting yourself from Satan, from Shaitan. كتاب الله دستوري.
On the next episode.
Baadhi yetu kwenda kule haji, ama mtu anaenda haji, wakati ule badala ya kunyanyua mikono kumlilia Mwenyezi Mungu Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, baadhi yetu tuko katika story za ball, story za siasa, story za nchi zetu, story za comedy. Inna lillahi wa inna ilaihi raji'un. Ama wengine wanaenda na simu pale, yuko katika Arafa, ni maselfie anapiga akitumia watu katika nchi zao. Wallahi ni mafadhaiko makubwa, ni masikitiko makubwa. Watu wanakuja wanafanya baadhi ya vituko ambazo kwamba si nzuri. Mtu anakuja katika uwanja wa Eid na t-shirt kina picha la Kidube, picha ya Bob Marley. Watu wanakuja kumtukuza Allah, wao wanakuja na miji picha ya Bob Marley, picha ya Cristiano.
On the next episode.
I love to pray. I worship Allah. I love Allah.
I was more happier when I followed the Prophet's Sunnah. Allah had my back when no one did, so I pleased Him by trying to resist what He forbid.
We all love Allah. He gave us the sun and the moon and the stars. Pray Salah, pray 5 times a day. These are the pillars of Islam. Pray 5 times a day. Betty Butter bought some butter, but the butter was bitter.
Lengo la kuwazungumzia wale ambao Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala amewachagua kuwaongoza walimwengu.
Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation.
Assalamu alaikum. Let's brighten up your morning. I am Aisha Khan and you're watching the Sabah Show. Only on Horizon TV.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back. Often than not, divorcees and divorced are usually seen as the black sheep within the society. We tend to avoid them and keep far much away from them because of the notion that it's a taboo, the notion that you're a failure in a society, the fact that you could not save your marriage. How could you not save your marriage? How could you not persevere? How could you not hold on there? Irrespective whether toxic or not, you're still expected to hold on. Of course, these are expectations put on us, on our shoulders, on our heads by the society. So this has led to some stigmatization and discrimination of the divorcees within the society. Some of the people that we're looking up to right now in this world, be it professionally, be it financially, have gone through the same. Ironically, we're looking up to them, we want to be like them, but we don't want to go through the path that they went to be where they are. I'm not saying that it's a must for us to go through the same path. Nonetheless, I'm here this morning to discuss about the discrimination and stigmatization of divorce cases within the society. And joining me to have this discussion from my immediate left, I have Sheikh Salim Charo, who's the Nairobi chapter chairman of the Council of Imams and Preachers of Kenya. Am I correct?
Yes, correct.
Karibu sana, Sheikh.
Shukran.
Of course, someone that we were with in the morning session who was wearing a political hat, student of economy, a freelance journalist, a writer, Brother Abdul Hakim Kigen.
Assalamu alaikum.
Salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. And last but not least, we have Dr. Rukia Tikia, who is a senior lecturer at Ummah University and also has an organization that advocates for girl child. I don't know who's going to fight for the boy child. Everyone is fighting for the girl child. I don't know who's going to fight for the boy child. Eh?
Yes.
Dr. Rukia, welcome. Karibu sana.
Thank you so much.
So happy. Thank you so much, our guest, for making time to be here. I mean, Dr. Rukia, I'm just going to start with you. Is divorce really that bad? Is it that much of a taboo within the society that we cannot condone, we cannot fathom it anymore?
I think my take is that divorce is not really that bad. There should be some thought lines in terms of what actually prompts somebody to be divorced. And I think these must get right so that then the society can perceive these divorces a bit differently. Because the assumption is that this is a taboo, which in my case shouldn't be the case.
Exactly, because when you're divorced, you're seen as a failure within the society. When you're working out of, as a matter of fact, some communities would never accept back their daughters from divorce marriages, from toxic marriages. Sheikh Salim Charo, what does Islam say about this whole topic of divorce?
Okay, generally, you know, in our society, we are the ones who have brought up the misconception of talaq. Despite the hadith or traditions of the Prophet ﷺ that he says that أبغض الحلال إلى الله الطلاق. It is something that is lawful, but it is disliked by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So with this, so there are people who misinterpret it. And also it's seen as, you know, when your daughter is divorced, so you think it is your part, it's number one, it's your responsibility as a parent that you failed to teach your daughter to be a better person so that she may sustain her marriage. So, and when it gets to that point, you know what the society is going to say.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you can correct me if I'm wrong, but the daughter of Abu Bakr, is it Asma bint Abu Bakr, who was married to Zubair ibn Abdullah ibn Zubair?
No,
they
yes,
divorced,
yes.
right?
Okay. I'm not sure.
Yeah. And even Zayd ibn Harith and
Zayd bin Harith,
Zainab?
there are number of talaqs, especially there was one by Umar, the son of Umar, Abdullah ibn Umar. In fact, he divorced his wife during her menses, and Rasul Sallam directed him that he should get her back for her to purify herself until then she sees her menses again, and then when she purifies without being intimate with her, so that's the point that he was supposed to let her go.
To make it official now.
Yeah.
Now, does that mean that this is something that has started from the Sahabi's time, companions' time? Is that something new? It's not a new phenomenon.
It's not something new. It has history over the time, not even during the time of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It has history back in the ages. Yeah.
Interesting. Abdulakim Kigen, I'll just loop you into this discussion right now. The statistics on divorce cases is scary, super scary. The Qadi's office, some will tell you for every 10, at least 2 marriages see it through. For every 10 nikahs, 2 of them see it through. But a number of divorces, it is something that has become normal. It's no longer shocking, it's no longer news. Maybe at times it's just shocking because of the person attached to it, the person who is associated with that particular case. But divorce matters, it's no longer news. It's something that's quite on the rise right now. What do you think might be a contributing factor to this case?
You know, we might warrant the rising number of divorces to people choosing their spouses, which is another conversation altogether. And for divorce, you know, divorce to the divorcees is not just separation. To them, it proves a second chance, you know, a second chance to be happy once again. Because what is the point of staying together and you guys are not happy together? You know, you're strangling each other every day, and you know this pressure builds up. That's why we see even in Kenya and outside the country, in the globe, where you find that domestic violence, the husband has killed the wife, or the wife has killed the husband with the kids, and all this pressure builds up because sometimes we have the issue of discrimination towards divorcees, that you'll be seen as if you never took good care of your marriage, or you are not mature enough to handle marriage, or something like that. That's why you find that people sometimes they shelf the option of divorce, because this is how they'll be perceived by the community, and the pressure builds up, and they eventually they end up with the only way out of this is to kill the spouse.
So they end up in they just survive in toxic marriages until when the time is ripe.
Absolutely.
For them to.
And even worse, Faisal, is this, that you find the stigmatization towards the people who are the divorcees. It comes into the marriages where, for the people who are still married, they'll be like they are made to put up with you know, unhealthy marriages where there is conflict. You know, they're being depressed, a lot of stress in there. They have to put up with that just because what is outside there is even worse.
Interesting. Wow, that is quite sad. Sheikh Salim, you had something to add before?
Yeah, I want to say, you know, mostly even when you are going through some problem in your marriage, and in our communities, when you seek maybe some reconciliation from imams or some people that are thought to be sheikhs, you know, most of the things that these women are told, they are told that be patient, subiri, and you know, you are a woman, you are supposed to respect your husband. So, you know, she keeps this, but until when, or till what point is she going to get hold of this?
To hold on to that.
Yeah. So, you know, this what also contributes to other things that our brother Abdul Hakim is mentioning here.
Daktari, you've been engaging with these people, with the ladies, with the girl child for quite some time now. You've heard their stories. What are some of the stories? What are some of the reasons that are pushing them up to that level of, they decide that, you know what, I'm done. I'm walking out. I'm throwing in the towel.
There are a number of reasons why people opt to leave their marriages. And I think what the community needs to appreciate is that this must be understood first before you condemn the person who has been actually divorced. Like, for example, always the blame goes back to the ladies. The fact is that one of the major reasons why probably the ladies felt that they needed to leave is abuse. Maybe you are being beaten up every now and then. The guy is not even providing the basics. And I think even in law, in Islamic Sharia, those are the key things that could opt for somebody to leave the marriage. And then the issues of maybe having other relations outside, which all qualifies. But what happens?
Infidelity.
Infidelity. And what happens is the community has this cultural belief that always when the marriages break, it is the lady who is the lady who
caused it. Now, now, what do you think is the problem, the cause of the problem until we're having such number of divorce cases? Is it that the spouses are not prepared well enough in advance? Is it because they make wrong spouse choices? Or is it because they are in this bubble that always get busted the moment they step in the marriage? What exactly is the problem?
So many things that contribute to that. Number one, the choice of the spouse that you choose. Because we have very clear guidance by the Prophet ﷺ that women are married for 4 reasons. But he emphasized on one. But today, the youth, we don't want to look at the one that Rasulullah said. The only point that we get emphasis is that only she has a Muslim name, maybe she has Islamic attire, and that's it. You know, but akhlaq, when it comes to akhlaq and other things, we don't put that into consideration. Also, on the other hand, when it comes to ladies choosing the male counterparts, what it happens is that they don't choose the one with what Rasulullah said, either atakum man taradawna dinahu, a person that you are pleased that, or that you agree with his religion, and وخلقه and his akhlaq,
characters.
you know, his characters. So we don't look into this. And we know this has been also a discussion over the years, because when you go to propose there and you are a person that who is known to be with these characters, you know, most parents, they opt to where do you work? What do you have in here?
But
you know, so we don't do the right thing. So and when and then we are not even prepared. The teachings that we get about marriage is about our cultures, our traditions. You know, you are the head of the house. You know, you are supposed to, your responsibilities in that, which does not necessarily, which is not in line with the Islamic teachings. So you find that you have the authority where you really don't have.
So is it time now we enlighten the society on the specific roles in marriages, particularly in the 21st century? That is one. Is it time maybe to have more seminars on, or more discussions, more topics on what exactly to look in a wife? Because I get your point, I get where you're coming from, that the guidelines are set by the Sharia, but on the flip side, yes, some people might argue, of course playing the devil's advocate, that they are following that. When I saw this man, subhanallah, there was no one who has a man like this, you know. When I saw this lady, subhanallah, niqab, everything, you can't even see the eyes. You know, you can't even see the nails, leave alone the eyes, you can't even see the nails. But she ended up to be something different than what I expected. And more of this discussion will be coming after this very short break. Don't you go away, because my director and producer this morning, Suleiman Nachasa of Tumbo, says hi, by the way, and is on my neck because you have to pay the bills. So don't go away. I'm going to be back after this very short break.
Assalamu alaikum. Let's brighten up your morning. I am Aisha Khan and you're watching the Sabah Show. Only on Horizon TV.
Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation. On the next episode,
I love to pray. I worship Allah. I love Allah.
I was more happier when I followed the Prophet's Sunnah. Allah had my back when no one did, so I pleased Him by trying to resist what He forbid.
We all love Allah. He gave us the sun and the moon and the stars. Pray Salah, pray 5 times a day. These are the pillars of Islam. Pray 5 times a day. Betty Butter bought some butter, but the butter was bitter.
Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation.
Assalamu alaikum. Let's brighten up your morning. I am Aisha Khan and you're watching the Sabah Show. Only on Horizon TV.
Thank you so much, Suleiman of Tumbo, Saida Abud right there at the gallery. Thank you so much, Asante Sana. And welcome back, Karibuni. We were talking about matters divorce. What's really happening? And you're talking about Natafuta Sitara. I think the society pushes you. Say, Abdullah Kim, come on, you're already cleared high school, you're a young man, you're smart, you're looking sharp. Time has come.
Yeah.
I mean, you've come of age.
And
Go get someone.
And in that quest, Faisal, you know, ya kujisitiri, so to speak, you find that most of us youths, we go for sex partners instead of companions. Because the reality of the matter is, if I get married right now, I'm going to stay with the wife, inshallah, up to, you know, in the next 50, 60, even 70 years. And the thing is, what will stand what our relationship will be anchored in the companionship that we will be having. You know, that's where people miss a point. And I want to go back to what Sheikh Salim Charo says. Alhamdulillah, we have very, very nice imams and Muslim leaders today. But what I would like to appeal to them, that they should be more than just Muslim leaders, more than just imams, because there was a story that was published in the Friday Bulletin some months ago, and it was talking about a lady who had just given birth, and she had postnatal depression, and the husband was not there for her so much. The husband was working outside, and you know, the child is crying so much. It's her first birth. She's depressed, so she went to the imam, and at times without number, the imam continued telling her that do adhkar, you know, read the Quran. Yes, alhamdulillah, that is a very good remedy, but I feel that the imam should have counseled her, more or less, to speak. So our imams should really, you know, move in to be even counselors. And Faisal, how the way forward is, for me, that especially for parents, you know, you might be 60 and your parent is 80, but one thing never changes. You never stop looking up to your parent for advices. You know, your parent is always the big man for you. And sometimes parents, when the kids are of age and they're now married, they have their own houses, as they say, you know, the parents feel like, I have done my work, and you know, now it's this.
You against the world.
It's you against the world. So that conversation never changes. The children always look up to their parents, and it's upon their parents to still hold on to their kids no matter what. Interesting.
Daktari, this is a very sensitive topic that, of course, I understand and respect that it comes with a lot of mixed reactions, because you've seen some people through their divorce cases successfully. You've seen them through their depression moments. You've seen some through their tough times when they are not well integrated back within the society. We've looked at some of the things that are contributing to this and some of the people that are responsible. Members of the society, the general members of the society, talk about their cousins, talk about their neighbors. They find it hard to integrate people back within the society. That's aside. We'll talk about that. The persons themselves, the victims themselves, the divorcees and the divorced, they come with some sense of inferiority complex. They come with some sense of self-defeated idea that my marriage did not work. I could not make it work. So I'm a failure in the eyes of the society. So it starts from them. Why do you think that is the case?
I think there's a lot of expectations from the society that the ladies needed to actually hold on to marriage for quite some time. And when it fails, the blame is normally pushed to them, and they feel like they have failed it. And then there is the stigma that is also associated, because if these girls are released, they are not ladies are released, they are normally released with all the burdens. They have taken away the kids, because in most of the communities, when the person discharges the lady, he doesn't take care of any responsibility. They are left to struggle by themselves. And then when it comes to social forums, maybe people are expected to declare, like, for example, their marital status. You have just broken your family. Then you feel like you have lost it. You feel like you cannot confidently stand ahead of people and try to say, this is who I am. Because the perception out there is that you have failed. What do you have to show? Still, it applies even in the political arena, that when you need to go for an election as a woman, then you must have been married to somebody, which is a pressure altogether.
And is it really does marriage suffices to be a measure of success or failure?
I think it shouldn't, to some extent, because it is the failure of people appreciating what caused you to leave the marriage that brings this assumption that, you know, you have to assume that a married woman would be more leader than an unmarried woman. But before this perception, and it requires 3 personnels to come into play, because the person themselves must prove that they're up to the task even after they're leaving the marriage, because they know what has pushed them to leave there. And they should speak out, in my view. These ladies need to come out clearly and change the perception, because it has to start from them than to accept that I am a failure. Secondly, the leaders, because the Islamic or the religious leaders have to intervene, because most of these cases are lack of knowledge, clear knowledge in terms of what are the obligations, even after leaving the divorce. What is the position of the religion on this? Because in most cases, when you get married, in the night before you enter your home, the people tell you the cultural beliefs and attitudes that are related to marriage. Rarely you are brought to task to understand what is the religious perspective. And then the social actors, I think, out there need also to appreciate it's not only the women right that we should advocate for, because the challenges lies with these divorcees who have taken away with the burden and they are just left, they are neglected by the society. And I think the society should open up their eyes and try to see how do we take care of this segment that is actually perceived differently, so that then their lives can be changed.
Interesting. There's a very interesting point you noted there, that this lady should come out and speak out and be heads high. Do they have the safe space within the society that they will come out and speak without being judged? Sheikh Salim.
Okay, they do have, talking of the forums that they have as the chamas and Nini and everywhere, but the problem is the society still.
But the mosque is the first place which you're trying to say it can't be a safe space, but it's the first place which when I come and meet the imam and start telling the imam about my problems in marriage, first he'll tell me to be patient. And when eventually the marriage becomes toxic, that I cannot handle it anymore, and I decide to call it quits, I go back to the mosque. There's going to be my first center of laughingstock and not my first center of refuge.
In fact, you'll be the topic. You'll be
topic of the khutbah.
Yeah, the sermon that Friday.
My goodness.
Yeah, that's what happens in most cases, especially in the community masajid. And but what we are supposed to do as imams, number one, we are supposed to be confidential when these matters come. We are not even supposed even to mention them in khutbahs. And the problem is that. It's not that talaq is something that is bad, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when he tells us to marry or to get married, in Surah An-Nur he says litaskunu ilayha, so that you may get tranquility, waja'ala bainakum mawadda wa rahma. But when you don't get these things, so what are you supposed to do? Or maybe you're going through an abusive relationship or that marriage. This is when either a husband or the wife decides that I cannot get to this.
Take it anymore. So
take it anymore. And then, but still there is a procedure, because this is also where we fail. Because you don't know, you just maybe the night before someone gives or says talaq, you find that these people are intimate. But asubuhi kwa sababu she did not serve tea with enough sugar, so hapo hivyo inakuwa
the problem starts.
This one in fact is talaqul bid'i.
Interesting.
It's a procedure, because we are trying. The first instance where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says we are supposed to call parties from both sides. They sit, they discuss, and until you get
something to a point, you wake up and you just decide.
Until you get to a point that okay, this it's not working anymore. So it's a procedure.
Some people are advised via tweet or WhatsApp, or you're tagged on Facebook. From today, I've divorced you. Written on your wall, and then you're tagged.
So someone is not supposed to divorce his wife during her menses. Someone is not supposed to divorce his wife after he was intimate with her, until she sees her menses, and then she's clean and pure. So that's when he can
divorce the wife. Interesting. Abdulakim, you wrote a very eye-opening article that we have to acknowledge. It inspired this discussion this morning. It was a very good article. Congratulations. Thank you so much for inspiring us and opening our eyes to have this discussion. What inspired you to have that article?
What inspired
maybe before you tell us what in addition to that, just within very short minutes, few minutes, tell us what inspired you to write that article and the storyline of that article for the benefit of the viewers who might have not yet read the article.
So actually, it was one dhuhr time. I was here in Jamia, and I was sitting at one of the gates where I happened to read the newspaper there, and we were just having a chat with one of the attendants there at the soldier there, and we were just talking about marriage and divorce, and he raised the issue that, you know, we have this issue, you know, in some communities where, you know, there is alienation of the divorcees, and as I was going on, when I left and went on with my other activities, I was thinking of how it really feels to be a child of a divorcee who is alienated by the society, and that inspired me to start the research and look into that article. But I think those who are the divorcees really don't even have a safe they don't have a safe space, and really looking into it, they don't even have a space in the first place.
So you featured two divorcees.
Yeah, they should create, space should be created for them. So I featured two divorcees, and it was not an easy. First of all, I would say that it was not easy, first of all, to get their consent to speak about their lives, because they feel like, you know, we are not even good enough in the first place, you know, to put our stories out there.
Self-defeated.
Yeah, they're self-defeated.
And
there is this thing that, allow me to say this, there is this thing that we have to put our foot down and say that, you know, it's okay to be divorced. It's not that bad to be divorced, because at the end of the day, you can't burn yourself to keep other people warm.
Interesting.
Adding on that is that Islam accommodates for the divorcees.
Yes.
Because there's where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us, we are talking of the two talaqs, and when the third one occurs, it means you cannot get back to the first husband until this lady is married to another person. So until the same procedure happens, so that's when they can go back. So in Islam, it's allowed.
Very fast, Dr.
My take on this is that these ladies, first, let's appreciate they don't have space. And we have examples of past stigmatization events, like people living with HIV/AIDS. They never also had the space, but somehow people created space for them. In my view, these people should be created for space, either through the social setups or the civil society need to help them come out, so that then they can get a voice through which they can air their voice.
And we're going to talk about that and how each member of the society can play a role into creating the safe space and accommodating and integrating back the divorced or persons who are coming from marriages that did not work out, not failed marriages that just didn't work out. And this is how we wrap up the second segment of this show. Quite sensitive topic, and the hype is all lost. But again, it's informative at the same time. So don't you go, because it's going to be back with how you will play a role in creating the safe space for these people into the society.
Assalamu alaikum. Let's brighten up your morning. I am Aisha Khan, and you're watching the Sabah Show, only on Horizon TV.
Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation. Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation.
Assalamu alaikum. Let's brighten up your morning. I am Aisha Khan, and you're watching the Sabah Show, only on Horizon TV.
Welcome back. I was just reading this, and I was reading it to the panel. I'm gathering the courage to read it to them. It's something that, anyway, Bismillah. I'm a 30-year-old lady, says, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I'm a 30-year-old lady and I'm very scared of marriage because many of my peers are not happy in their marriages. My parents divorced and my father was polygamous and divorced a couple of wives. Many say that if you come from a divorced family, chances are that you'll be divorced too. Is this true? Also, people say that if your parents do something bad, then bad things shall come to you in vengeance. I've turned down my proposals because of this. Daktari.
I think this is what we are talking about, stigmatization. And we fail to appreciate as a society that whatever you do to the divorcee eventually affects their kids. And rarely people take care of these kids because there is a psychological trauma they go through. The parents are divorced, they go into different ways, and they are already, because the mother is perceived as a failure, then the chances are that the girl will be also achieved. But my advice to the lady is that she should try her own space, because it is not automatic that when your mother's marriage or your friends' marriages fail, yours will definitely fail. Maybe yours will work. So that is why I'm saying we need to actually appreciate and do something, not only to the divorcee, even to the kids, to prepare them. It is okay sometimes to part ways.
How do we do that?
Well, through civil education, through the mosque, through the churches, because this is something that cuts across races, across religions. That first we need to appreciate that. And the only way to come out of this is a collective effort from the church, from the mosque, from the civil society, and for the people who are affected, both kids and ladies, to come out clearly and speak out. And this they can't speak out without us creating a space for them. And then the responsibility is with us all as a society, and try to see how we can change this perception.
But we need to start from somewhere.
Yes.
Ustaz, you have something to add on that?
Yeah, okay. I think there's this thing that they say, we learn from mistakes. And, you know, once maybe your parents' marriage did not work, and maybe your friends and peers, it's not working. So that one does not define her, that she's a failure, and she has not tried. And, you know, in fact, she should be the right person to learn from mistakes of the parent, of the friends, and so that she may try to perfect the marriage. But she cannot just say that I'm not going to get married, considering that she's a human, and, you know, this is what also brings up the masail of zina and nina, any other thing. There's a time that she'll want to have kids, and she has the human feelings, you know. So, and then when you're not married, how are you going to, you know? So these are some of the things, but learning from these people, and just like Dr. is saying, that once we create a safe space for these people, these groups, you know, they share their experiences, which helps them to learn, oh, this was the problem. So this is how it can be solved. And for her, it can be something that is positive. The same thing that they say, you create, when you're given a lemon, you create a lemonade from it.
Just allow me to say this. You know, it's very interesting to see how somebody who's in a marriage is looking down upon a divorcee. Because, you know, subhanallah, you are just one unfortunate event away from being a divorcee also. Because only Allah knows of what is in the future. You never know. And again, Faisal, this conversation has to gain traction in the grassroots. People have to talk about this, because many people tend to avoid this talk. And this is what, you know, from just talking about this issue and the divorcees feeling that, hey, kumbe, it's okay. We have also other people who are in the same circumstance. It gives them the confidence to go on with life.
Very interesting topic, because one of the ladies you featured in your article, she's currently, I can't call it battling for her life at the hospital.
Yeah.
it's quite sad. It's a sad state of affairs. She's HIV positive.
Yeah.
After resorting to
prostitution
for how to be able to fend for her kids and her family. What did you want to achieve with this article besides sharing the plight and creating the awareness?
Faisal, first of all, the article is found in The Elephant. The title goes by like a red X mark. You know, you can just type that. And the thing that really, you know, that I wanted to put out to people out there is to see what really goes on and to have the conversation around this, and also for fellow people, for other people who are in the same situation, to know that it's okay to be a divorcee. It's not a taboo, and that life can still move on. And the thing that I got while doing this thing, Faisal, is that these people, some of them have given up in life. You know, being alienated by people, you know, the people that loved you, and you're out there on your own, and you're like, and you're a desperate person, and you go into some desperate measures, like, you know, like sex working, because you feel like, I have nothing to lose, because anyway, at the end of the day, nobody cares about me.
Interesting. It's heartbreaking. It's not even interesting, it's heartbreaking. Dr.
Is that what is also contributing to other social ills is the divorce, and the society must face it head on, because it is that has prompted somebody to become a prostitute and eventually get some infection in terms of life-threatening HIV/AIDS. So if we have to change all these social ills, then the community must unite in terms of trying to fight the position of this divorce, the perception of people, and how do we change it to look a bit differently.
The society is made up of you and I. You know, that's the society. So I'm just asking, a follow-up with that. Have you thought of creating safe spaces, creating support groups for these ladies or these men amongst themselves, and then maybe grow from that? Because as you clearly said, maybe as you're wrapping up, HIV started, I mean, there were a lot of discriminations and, of course, stigmatization circumventing that disease. But again, it started with them taking the initiative. Do you promote such in this field as well?
Well, I think my take on this is because I have that the organization that is there. It is already coming to my idea. One of the ideas is to put up some social forum for these divorcees, so that then they can have a space to share their experiences. And I think the platform like these media homes can also be an avenue, because once you air this severally and bring on the people to share experiences, it can change the perception of people. But let's not just only target the divorcees, but let's also look at how do we bring on board the kids who are at the stake here, because this affects them, and it affects how they perceive marriage. And something must be done. I think this can combine a counseling session for both the divorcee and the kids. That is maybe one of the areas that I may need to focus on in terms of my organization.
Thank you so much. Sheikh Salim, just as a parting shot, as well as you're giving your parting shot, also address this question. Being the chairman of Council of Imams and Preachers of Kenya in Nairobi now, is it something that you want to take up with the mosques in Nairobi and the Islamic centers in Nairobi to provide safe spaces for these people who are affected?
Okay, currently, in fact, there are some brothers we are working with, because we had initiated we wanted to also involve imams in counseling and guidance, so that they may be able how to deal with such cases, because there are some sort of there's some issues, just like I mentioned earlier. We are working on that, and it's also an initiative that I think we are going to adopt, inshallah. And that also this a plea to the society. You know, when it starts from this lady who is divorced, and at a certain level she finds a suitor or a person that feels that is going to marry her. You know, it's also this sort of discrimination, and there's a talk about marrying of second and third wife. You know, there's still this discussion, because this also should be part of reintegrating them to the society. And also it's not, it's something that has been there. The Sahabas, they married, they divorced, and even there is a case by Ibn Tujuna. This was a lady who was being married by Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, but the night before, when Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was about to be intimate with her, there are some instructions he was given by some people on that, A'udhu billahi minka. So when she said that, it is as if maybe she did not understand or know what it means. Yeah. So that was her divorce from the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So it's not something that is negative. It's the way that we perceive. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yes. Again, a lot to talk, but time is not on our side. But I hope you got the message. It's quite a sensitive topic, which I couldn't help but think of the following. My advice to my young brothers and sisters, my fellow peers who are not yet married, who might be facing the peer pressure from the society to walk into this institution of marriage. It is a beautiful institution, very beautiful institution. I cannot lie to you. Tried, tested. It's a beautiful institution. Nonetheless, it's rather you wait long than to marry wrong. Don't be under pressure. You'd rather wait long than to marry wrong. Some people marry at the age of 21 and divorce by the age of 22. Others marry at the age of 40 and live with their spouses up to the age of 80. There's no best time and worst time to get married. The only question you should ask yourself is, are you ready? To my elders, brothers, sisters, and aunties, uncles who might be in marriages that are not toxic or are toxic, it's good to be patient. It's very good to be patient. It's good to hold on. But remember this, Allah will ask you about you first before anyone else. Not the society, not your husband, not your son, not your daughter. Will ask you about you. So be selfish and you come first. Nonetheless, in this dunya, you have one life. Make it count. I've been your host, Faisal Qasim, and see you next week, same place, same time. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Assalamu alaikum. Let's brighten up your morning. I am Aisha Khan and you're watching the Sabah Show.
Only on Horizon TV.